All right, guys, this is Paul Singh, the market speculator with bullsonwallstreet.com. Today, we're going to talk about trade management, managing a trade once you are in a position. And we're going to use current position BRZU to do that. That's a Brazilian ETF, triple leverage, so we get that extra volatility. You can see here in the trade report, recent trade notifications. We took this trade, 200 shares BRZU at 134.64, about a 10-point stop, initial target in the 150 to 160 range. Now, if you guys remember here in that last uh, post back in late July, we talked about trading ideas and trading the brick. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China. And these were showing relative strength compared to SPY, the US market. So we were really interested in that, and I'd been waiting for a good spot to enter. And that's when we entered here on August 3rd, 2 days ago. Now let's pull up the chart here. You can see here where the entry was. Now, not a classic setup here in the sense of any setup we have where we have a name for the setup and we're looking for exact triggers. I just knew that it was leading the market, it was leading SPY, and I wanted to look for a spot to get in. And I got the confirmation 2 days ago when it looked like it was breaking down below the 9 and then came back up on huge volume. That's actually not huge volume. That was the next day, but came back up here towards the end of the day on good volume, up over the 9. That was the key. It didn't fail at that 9 when it looked like it was going to pull back. So that was the trigger for our entry. It wasn't necessarily an overall pattern other than we like the relative strength. And I'm always looking for momentum. Where is money moving in the market? And we knew, you can see the volume pattern in here, the market was moving towards these brick stocks, and Brazil was my favorite of the four. And since then, we've had this nice little run up, pulling back a little today. It's still intraday. Let's see how it goes. You got to be careful not to micromanage these and get scared of these little types of moves within a trend. So, I always talk about the three parts of trading, and actually the first part, the entry, the stock picking, is the least important part. The most important part is your risk management and what we're talking about today, your trade management. So we got the entry down, that's fine. That's not going to make you a winning trader. We got the risk down, now you're improving as a trader. We risk 10 points. We're going to get at least 20 on this. So my initial target is going to be 153. And now we're going to get into the trade management where most of the mistakes come in, because this is where the mental game type of errors come in. Right now you might get panicked here by a little red intraday and get out of the position. That would be micromanaging. When fear and greed starts to set in, we can't do that. We know we're going to stick with it until it gets to 153. We're not going to micromanage here on this little 10 point, 8, 9, 10 point win here. So we're going to stick through this. So that's the first key with trade management. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. Stick to the plan we've got. Now we know 153 to 160 is going to give us that 2-to-1, but we also want to try to play a bigger trend if we can. So we're going to mark off the spots that are key levels here. And what we see here, I always look to the first major gap that has never been filled. These things tend to get filled at some point. And we can see here, going back to July of 2015, a year ago, we have a major open gap here at 180. And we could see a magnet to that level. So that's going to be a key level for us here. And maybe if this thing were really to fly, we could go to this pivot point here at about 220, and then another pivot point here way up at 260. And in between that, I think we've got an open gap, that gap filled. So 220 and about 260, maybe we never reach that. That's really ambitious there. But I think 180 is doable, and that would be a fantastic trade for us. At 200 shares, we're already up close to $2,000. And, just hitting my target is going to get to 4,000. And if we got up here, we're talking about a huge win. What would that be? That would be, I can't even calculate it right now, but that would be a very big win here. But I'm not going to just hold on to that level. What I'm going to do is, once I get to that 153, 155, and it was looking pre-market like we might reach that level, because we were pre-market, we were up at 150, so I only needed 3 points. We pulled back. A lot can happen going into the close, but we're not caught up with this intraday stuff. As swing traders, it could be next week if and when that happens. But I will take profits in that 153 to 160 range, probably half off. So that 200 shares would get down to 100 shares. And from there, I'm going to move my stop up to a logical place. The starting point is your entry to lock in everything and make sure you at least get that initial profit. But for me, if we get up to 155, even that entry level would probably be invalidating that setup a little higher. So that's a mistake I think a lot of swing traders make in that trade management portion. They automatically move the stop to their entry point, and they're not going to try to lock in anything else on that second half. If I get out at 155, my stop is probably going to be around the low of, say, this candle, if that's where the low ends up being today, around 145, 41, 42. So we're locking in a little more. So it's going to be a bigger winning trade than if that second half we let it go down to 134. So we'll use that trailing stop at about 141, 142. And maybe if it starts to run in here and then we get to 180, I take another quarter off. So I take another 50 shares off that. And at that point, I probably consolidate a little bit. This thing won't go in a straight line, but maybe then on that last quarter position, we could get that bigger move. I mean, the probability of that happening is not huge, but we want to be in position. And if it does, and we can always pull out of the trade if it starts to pull back. So you can see what potentially can be a huge win is not going to be there if you micromanage this and just get out with a small win. One of the biggest mistakes a trader makes, and it's a hidden mistake because you see these as wins, but one of the biggest mistakes is taking these small wins and never capturing that double, triple, or even home run, because you never position yourself to do that. And if you manage these things correctly, you can still make sure you lock in that profit while still giving yourself that opportunity for the big win. So this is a live trade here, BRZU. We're in it here. We're not going to take this small win. We're either going to get stopped out here for a small loss, and I actually like small losses better than small wins, because the small losses actually mean you're doing something right. The small wins mean you're doing this incorrectly and you're never going to get that big win. So we're going to go for at least 2 to 1 here at about 153 to 160, and we're going to take half off and see if we can get that bigger win. So that's BRZU, current live position. This was all about trade management, that third aspect of trading, the most important aspect of trading. So we'll revisit this one. I'll put out another post here as we either get stopped out or we start to take profits here. We're going to analyze this whole thing. And as you can see here, we've already done a post when we were thinking about the trade. We're doing a post now on entry and trade management. And then we'll do an exit post here as this trade plays out. And remember, guys, this is the trade report here. Every trade report member has been alerted to this trade and all the other trades we're taking here. I'm in. You can see these blue flags are my current positions here. And if you want to join the trade report, go to Swing Trade Alerts here, and down here you've got the monthly plan, the quarterly plan, and the annual plan, which is 50% off. A fantastic deal here. And on Mondays, I send out a weekly swing trade report free. So it'll set up your week here. I go over what I'm looking at in the market, potential actionable setups, and I'll review my current positions here. So go ahead and put your email in here and subscribe, and you'll get a free report every week. So I'll see you guys with an update on this trade.